A cool Saturday, downtown Providence, Rhode Island. What happens when a Friar meets a Phoenix? That's never happened before. We find out tonight. College basketball on FS2, and a new look Green Bay program makes its first ever trip to Providence. Friars fighting for a 4-0 start. Welcome inside the Ave. So happy to have you with us alongside former DePaul, Virginia, Northeastern headman. But you might better remember him as a Providence fan, Jim Calhoun's right-hand man. He's Dave Lado. I'm Emmanuel Berbari. Now, Dave, Providence, it's been defense so far. But what's different about this Green Bay offense we'll see tonight?
Well, and Coach Doug Gottlieb's first year, he's implemented a really good and fast-paced system that is really effective. They are averaging just under 80 points a game while shooting over 33s a game. So against that stingy defense, the Flying Phoenix are going to have to get it done.
Oh, I love that. The Flying Phoenix. Which version do we see tonight? The starting lineups are sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Anthony Roy, circle his name, number 9 for Green Bay. He's averaging 29 points a game, 5th in the nation. And for Providence and Kim English, they've been a little sluggish offensively. They go with a change at the 5 for redshirt sophomore forward Kriisa Sandakoe.
Yes, and he brings a lot of enthusiasm. I think watching them in practice, what Kim English was really emphasizing is more energy, more toughness, and that's what Kriisa brings to the basketball team.
Kriisa is there to take the tip for Providence, and for Green Bay, it's Marcus Hall, Pat Driscoll, Ron Groover, and Kip Kissinger are our officials tonight. The Amp, one of the best atmospheres in college basketball. It seats 14,000 and per usual filled to the brim tonight. In the grill already, Corey Floyd on Anthony Roy. Roy off the dribble. Anthony Roy picks up right where he left off.
Here's a guy in Roy that, as we talked about, shoots a lot of threes at a very high percentage, over 60% from the floor, over 50 free throw line. Not too many twos from the mid-range, which is really good for him and for the Phoenix.
Head coach Doug Gottlieb challenged him in that regard. Floyd going hard. Corey Floyd answers right back. And that's a pet peeve of Doug Gottlieb. You don't want to take mid-range jump shots.
Not at all. The thing that Providence, and we talked about in the open, the first set, is we're going to make this offensive player in Anthony Roy play defense, going right at him in an ISO situation. Good basket by Floyd.
Roy, deep range. Oh, man, Anthony Roy, what a start.
The thing that's most impressive with watching him on film is he plays at his own pace. He gets his shot when he wants and how he wants.
Eliminating that mid-range jumper entirely. At 25'3", you'll certainly take that. Hensley Joseph, the leading scorer for the Friars. Here's a Sandakoe. No, rebound tapped around, taken by Johnson.
One of the things you'll see about the Providence defense early on, it's a lot of pressure on the ball and a lot of eyes in help position.
Pierre applying that pressure. Look at this movement from Green Bay. Roy, another. Off the mark this time, the rebound to Cardette.
He's going to get his threes, he's going to get his shots. It's just a percentage that Providence has to worry himself about.
What ball movement from Providence. Cardette. No good. And Green Bay corrals. Not a lot of size, you'll notice, for this Green Bay team.
Yes, a lot of shooters. They spread the floor out, 5 out, wanting to get into the paint, spread the ball around to the perimeter for threes.
Tweedy's that freshman point guard from Australia. Just misfired. Cardette can play make. Wesley Cardette draws the foul and heads to the free throw line.
Really good move to get into the paint. Cardette, strong body, as we talked about, broad shoulders, dipping that left shoulder into the defender and getting to at the free throw line.
Kim English in his second season at Providence. What a start for him. Chomping at the bit to get his leader, Bryce Hopkins, back. But one of the more prepared coaches, whoever he has on his roster. Last night, Anthony Roy, he knew he was coming into town. So he goes to the film 2 years ago at George Mason and watches a former adversary in James Bishop at George Washington. Lefty stroke, just like Roy, challenging opponents. So Kim English spent all of last night watching film on him. How about that?
And I've known Kim English since he was a high schooler. He teases me about not recruiting when I was an assistant at Connecticut, but he's always been poised to be a coach. He was above and beyond himself from a preparation standpoint, as you mentioned, and he has a really, really good future here at Providence and in this sport.
Still just 36 years old, Kim English. Green Bay the early edge. Roy, not a shot he doesn't like right now. Nearly mishandles. Approaching 10 to shoot. Nice ball fake from Hall. Wonder gets bumped in that corner by Pierre late in the shot clock.
One of the things that I'm really cognizant of, and I like, is the shot fake. A lost start sometimes. In that possession, I think we had 2 or 3 shot fakes, got them at the free throw line, got them to foul at the end of the shot clock.
It is one of the amazing stories in college basketball. Doug Gottlieb, in his first year as a head coach, coming out of media as a consultant last year at Oklahoma, wonders off the mark, and Providence has the rebound. Doug Gottlieb, as intense a head coach, as knowledgeable a head coach as you'll find in year number 1. Garnett, no, and the rebound down to Wonders.
Yeah, a really good point guard, as they led the NCAA in assists 2 straight years at Oklahoma State. As you said, really understands the game.
Strong defense from Providence, but it collapses late, and Tweedy heads to the free throw line. And Doug Gottlieb wants his players to embody the style he played. Fierce, competitive. He wants his guards distributing just the way he did in his playing days.
And both coaches are similar in that way. They want to play hard. They want to play smart. He, as a former point guard, understands the game as well as anybody. He's been on the sidelines, as you mentioned, as an analyst, and now bringing all that knowledge as a first-year coach to this young group.
Doug Gottlieb saying it's still weird to be on that sideline and not have a headset strapped on. You can't be a head coach with one of our headsets strapped on. Well, maybe you can, but it's not going to go out on the air.
We've played reverse roles.
Still strategizing, still analyzing, just on a different side. Tweedy capitalizing at the free throw line, 1 of 2. Nice pass from Cardette. Extra ball movement. Floyd hits a 3. On a look from Pierre.
One of the things that's been an emphasis in the last 2 days in practice is ball movement. Don't put the ball on the floor with no purpose. Catch it, move it, drive it, get good shots as we just saw.
How about this hounding defense? Will it lead to offense? Here's Cardette off the dribble. Fluid for Providence. Floyd finds Pierre. Got it.
Providence looks a little bit the way Green Bay wants to play. Spray it around, move it, drive it, kick it out, and that's probably the 3rd or 4th possession in a row they've gotten an open 3.
Roy punting his shot. Anthony Roy banks it home somehow.
I'll tell you what, he is impressive. On film, very much. In person, outstanding.
Long heave, Joseph, no. 7 of Green Bay's 8 from Roy. So the scouting report is holding firm. Wonders against Cardette. Deep heave, Hall. Joseph the board. Headed the other way, got a foul off the ball here, and Joseph not pleased. 9-8 early narrow edge for Providence as the Friars cooking from the perimeter. Jupes is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Couple of early Providence threes, a narrow 9-8 edge over Green Bay. And the Phoenix coming from Wisconsin to Providence for the first time in the history of their program under their first-year head coach in Doug Gottlieb. And Green Bay, a program that's had a lot of success historically, looking to rebuild and retool. Last time in the NCAA tournament, 2016. Last time they won their conference, the Horizon League, was 2014. What a weekend they just had as well. They, of course, being in Green Bay, Wisconsin, had the opportunity to link up with Mark Murphy, the Packers president. And Dave, having that opportunity to have a donor that big, go to Green Bay, run the stairs was incredible for Green Bay.
It's a once in a lifetime. I don't know if the players understand that as much because they live in the moment, as we know, but an iconic franchise, and I understand being in Green Bay, you get nothing but. So a great thrill to be able to not only meet Mark Murphy, but to be in that stadium, Lambeau Field.
Ben Tweedy running the point right now. Enjoyed it maybe the most. He was lapping him up and down the stairs as Roy fires. Oh my! Anthony Roy is on a mission early.
Tell you what, shooting at a premium in this game, he does it as well as anybody I've seen early on in the season.
Shooting 56% from the floor. It is incredible to watch, and now making a statement early at Providence.
A lot of switching by the Green Bay defense.
5 to shoot. Pierre rims it in. The shooter's touch.
Nice move that time by Pierre, coming to a jump shot. Playing off 2 feet, calm, turnaround jump shot. Really good attempt.
Pierre back as a starting point guard, his 3rd year at Providence. Wonders against Pierre. Wonders off balance, rims it out. Abdur-Rahim, who just checked in the rebound. Nice pass. DeLaurier off the window. Joseph the look.
Early ball screen, a flat ball screen, had Abdur-Rahim coming up the gut, which allowed DeLaurier, who's getting some early playing time, to finish at the rim.
Foul off the ball on the attack. Eli DeLaurier, as Kim English dips into some of his depth, providing some meaningful minutes, as searching for what works. That's the motto for the Friars right now.
Yeah, I think he's been toying around with the 4 big guys that he has. You know, Bonk played early, and DeLaurier did not. Now they've reversed sort of. Played very well down the stretch last game against Hampton. Earned more playing time today.
DeLaurier from Shipman, Virginia. 2nd year at Providence, 6'10" stretch forward. Perimeter ball movement from Green Bay. Roy's been feeling it. Anthony Roy again. Why not?
My goodness.
This guy is unconscious and making a statement. 13 early for Anthony Roy.
I'll tell you what, I haven't seen that kind of shot-making ability in a long time, particularly somebody that the nation is not really aware of as of yet.
Well, they're becoming aware tonight. Here's DeLaurier with 8 to shoot. The turn? No. The battle for the rebound stays this side with 5 to shoot. How about Anthony Roy?
Yeah, you see he's taking DeLaurier off the dribble. A step back, really difficult shot. You've got to have strong legs and a great touch. Shows it right there.
Is Anthony Roy's 6th school in 5 years. Well-traveled, always an elite player. He struggled academically. Doug Gottlieb has challenged him this year. Let's prove people wrong. Let's show the real version of you. And so far, he's taken extremely well to it.
He's taken a lot of drives around the block, and now Providence is going to make sure to see that he can get a whole lot of traffic.
5 to shoot. Cardette with 3. Cardette can't bank it home on the Battle Hall, and Roy comes away. Hawley open look.
No miscommunication defensively that time by the Friars.
And the big body of Rich Barron hits the deck to secure that possession.
Rich Barron, an interesting prospect. A young guy as a sophomore, gives him a lot of toughness, great body, but he also provides some offensive punch from the three-point line.
Speaking of the three-point line, Anthony Roy.
On fire early, knows how to get his shot, and as I said before, plays at a great pace, his pace for the Phoenix.
Dictates the pace of the game. Just a great kid, according to Doug Gottlieb. So fun to work with. He's responsible for Green Bay being in front. Here's Joseph. Bensley Joseph, the leading scorer for the Friars, nowhere close. And here comes Tweedy. Open look for the 7-footer. Miranda's got it. And how about the Phoenix?
Tell you what, those three-pointers, not only do they count for the 300, but it really, really puts Providence at a disadvantage because how do I guard? Do I help off of my man? Do I guard? It's really, really a dilemma at this point.
How do the Friars respond here? 5 to shoot. Abdur-Rahim heaves. Not close, and Green Bay feeling it with momentum. Roy again. Card at the board.
Providence has to make sure to play at their pace.
Abdur-Rahim, that's a quick shot. Asandiko, the long offensive rebound. Abdur-Rahim's hunting. Offensive foul. This energy from the Phoenix, led by Anthony Roy. Contagious. How about the 7-footer Miranda chipping in? Green Bay, a 4-point lead at Providence. A nice start for the high-flying Phoenix, led by a 6-0 run right now, and Anthony Roy's dominance. Well, my partner, Dave Leto, has had his share of great basketball moments. How about his sister, Diane Leto? Providence just celebrated 50 years of women's athletics a couple of years ago. Diane Leto, back in 1975, one of 4 female athletes that received the first scholarships ever at Providence College. And just amazing to think of how empowering that was for females around Providence and female athletes. And Dave, I'm sure you know how much that meant to Diane herself.
Absolutely. And during that time, the early to mid-70s, Title IX and equal equality for women was becoming something that had to be done. She was a part of that. Paulette Hassett was part of that recruiting group as well. She's been my idol because of it, and I'm sitting here as a basketball man because of her.
It's so incredible to think of the strides that were made. And watching the piece that Providence did on her, she said, I felt superior, I felt strong because of Title IX and the opportunity to play. Bad pass as Mila picks it up, fresh off the bench for Providence.
As this game wears on, we have a Phoenix team that averaged almost 80 points, as I mentioned. Providence at about 65. We'll see which one will win out. The Providence defense versus the high-flying offense of Green Bay.
Gardette one-on-one and heads to the free throw line.
In watching film preparing for the game, one of the vulnerabilities that Green Bay has shown is their inability to stop straight line drives. That time Gardette did that and got himself to the line. So we'll watch that as the game goes on, particularly in transition. Can I go right to the basket and create opportunity for myself or my teammate?
How important is that for somebody like Gardette coming over to the Big East, a much higher level, to understand the scouting report?
Well, he, as a lot of players are around the country, still trying to get familiar with what's being asked of him, what his role is, knowing that he's talented, has scored a lot of points in his career, particularly last season at Chicago State. So it's going to take some time for him as well as his teammates. But I think as he gets freer, you'll see more productivity.
Played so free and easy at Chicago State, at Samford. Gardette's been the leading scorer wherever he's been. Now taking it up a level at the Big East with Providence. That just stopped a 6-0 Green Bay run.
What I want to see is when Hopkins comes back, 2 hybrid forwards and how they play off of each other.
And how hard is that, the chemistry, once Hopkins is back in the fold?
It's what makes good teams great. Is how they mesh together and play as one.
Here's Roy already with 13. Anthony Roy, helped out by O'Hara, but Providence comes away. Pierre joined by Gardette, Asandiko, Mila. Floyd just caught in the corner. That's the 5 for the Friars. Mila, off the window.
Anytime you have a baseline drive, baseline drift, and you change sides of the floor, again, that's what you get, straight leg drives to the basket. Really good offense that time.
Providence offense much stronger in the early stages tonight. Kim English had challenged his team. Miranda can't hit his second. Mila the board. Mismatch. Gardette with 8. Once again downhill, Gardette to the free throw line for a second time.
Again, good patience that time by Providence, waiting to see what opened up. Again, as we just mentioned, Cardet infiltrating the interior of the Green Bay defense, getting himself fouled once again. Again, I think Kim Ingles was very, very happy to see his aggressiveness early on the offensive end, and it's led himself to getting fouled, putting team fouls on Green Bay, so hopefully as they finish the first half to get a lot more opportunities at the free throw line.
That's also the second on Miranda, so Cardet forcing a decision here for Doug Gottlieb. 7'1" big man, not a lot of size on this Phoenix squad.
He's a guy that has shown already he can play inside and outside. Obviously, with the quick fouls, probably going to have to sit him for a little while.
And he does come off. Back in Foster Wonders, one of the leaders for Green Bay.
Wonders missing his backcourt teammate today due to injury, Reedinger. So we've got Ben Tweedy, as you mentioned, starting. And I think it hadn't lost a whole lot with a young freshman leading this offense.
He spoke so highly of Tweedy, the entire staff, beyond his years as a freshman, and a Doug Gottlieb type guard. Makes the right play. He's like one of me. That's the way Doug Gottlieb referred to it.
The freshman out of Queensland, Australia, and if you know anything about Australians, they come with a high level of toughness.
Providence the lead back. Green Bay, a couple of minutes ago, feeling it, riding high with the lead. Here's Roy, hesitation. Roy, full head of steam. The foul on the floor.
What happens, and especially with a guy like Roy, is you put a lot of ball pressure to take away his ability to catch and shoot or dribble into a shot, forcing him to put the ball on the floor. And then when you provide yourself defensively with early help, as they did now, it could lead to bad shots or untimely passes.
If you're Providence, Davey, keep it off the three-point line with Roy. Do you consider that a success tonight?
Yeah, oh, no doubt, because that's where he scored a lot of his points. And then with the drive, I talked about with the drive, he's tried to prevent him from scoring at the rim as well.
Majority of his damage from three, a 91% foul shooter, but has to get there first. Roy, this is Eaton Street. No, meal of the board.
Kim Ingles will take that defensive possession all day long.
Mila. Calculating. Fires very methodical. Lloyd for three. Bam.
That time, Providence took advantage of the side ball screen of which Green Bay iced, glued. A lot of people call it different things. It allowed the ball to come out of there, change sides of the floor. Great open three.
Right downhill to the hole. Marcus Hall's been impressive.
You and I talked about this earlier today, the matchup between a stretch five and sophomore Marcus Hall and one of the big guys, this time Sanko, that time easily taking him off the dribble.
Plays beyond his size, Marcus Hall. That ended an 8-0 Friars run as Asandiko is bumped by Hall on the inside.
There's the other half of it. His bulk down low, Marcus Hall's perimeter quickness on the other end.
Yeah, there's the contrast. Friars running in front. Floyd, one of their leaders, dialing it up from deep. Providence by 2. Green Bay ran out in front early at Providence at the end. The Friars will reach an 8-0 run and a narrow 2-point lead headed down the stretch of the first half. Well, Green Bay's a revamped program in more ways than one. They have new friends. Mark Murphy, the president of the Packers, invited Doug Gottlieb and his squad to Lambeau Field this past weekend. They didn't only get to walk the field, walk the locker room, they ran the stairs, which is a workout in its own right, Dave. And the leader of the pack was their freshman. Right there is C.J. O'Hara, but their freshman, Ben Tweedy, lapped everyone twice, according to Doug Gottlieb, as they ran around the stairs at Lambeau.
He probably thought, as a native Australian, that football stadiums meant something different. So he started running field. But anytime you can be in an iconic stadium like that, it would bring chills to anybody. And these guys are young. They may not understand the history of the Green Bay Packers, but living in Green Bay and being it, they have to understand the meaning of what it is to be inside of Lambeau Field.
For sure helps your appreciation of the area in which you play. Doug Gottlieb says, we're a very quiet campus. We're not a big school. If you want to go to one of the party schools, you can. We're about basketball. We're about hoop. And that's the mantra, the MO of his team.
As he says, I want ballers.
And they're balling so far tonight at Providence. Asandiko with the toughness for 2.
Saw that this morning in shoot around where they're going to ISO a guy coming out of a timeout that time with the sideline, baseline out of bounds. Really good patience that time by Asandiko.
Asandiko slided into the lineup, first start, and immediately chipping in. Oh, nice run to the basket. The answer back from Marcus Hall.
Marcus Hall says, I got one better. You gave me some strength at one end. I'm going to give you quickness at the other.
Hall, the clear size disadvantage as Mila takes it and one right to the hole.
Mentioned that a little while ago. You know, the inability thus far in 3 games to prevent the ball from going downhill. Multiple players can do it. This time, Mila did a really good job of understanding what is required, taking him off the dribble, the strong right hand, straight live drive, and the foul. It also puts the Friars in the bonus for the rest of the half.
Green Bay too shy of the limit. The team's inching into foul trouble as Ryan Mila, who's turned some heads lately, chipping in immediately tonight from nearby Natick, Massachusetts, and creates the largest Friar lead.
One thing I know about Ryan Mila, he's well-schooled, understands the AAU program, Middlesex Magic, one of the best offensive AAU programs in America.
You can play at Middlesex, you can play here at Providence. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
Absolutely.
Hall, nice ball fake. Hall into a swarm of defenders. What a follow. And 2 shots forthcoming for the Phoenix.
Freshman Jeremiah Johnson got his first opportunity to get his hands on the ball and an offensive rebound because the Providence defense collapsed on the driver. Hall, see 2 players going up, benefiting. That's something that he's done really well in the first 3 games for Green Bay. Has moved very well without the ball, very opportunistic to get himself at the line.
Jeremiah Johnson, a freshman who's a very confident guy. Kim English certainly circled him on the scouting report. He's a sensational story. Just 3 years ago, thought he may never play again. He was playing a pickup game as a high school sophomore. A fight broke out, and Johnson called it wrong place, wrong time. Turned into shots firing. Johnson was shot twice in the hip, temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. The doctor said, you may never play again, and you may never walk the rest of the year. He was dunking within 3 months.
How about that for a story? The Del City, Oklahoma native, signed and committed early to Oklahoma State. Coaching changed. Oklahoma State legend, I was calling him that, Doug Gottlieb, in his context, got him to Green Bay. Really, really good pickup late in the process.
And that's that genuine trust between a player and the head coach that brought him to Green Bay. And Johnson saying, no one can tell me why. No doctors can tell me why I'm still walking, still playing. It's miraculous to me. Cardette, strong attack. Battle for the rebound, and Roy, who's been a man possessed. Roy, Euro, no, and a foul on the floor.
One of the few early fast break opportunities for Green Bay. Roy got himself to the front of the rim, missed the layup, another offensive rebound. I think Kim English has talked about rebounding as a staple of the problem. They're plus 13 thus far early on in the season, but you don't want to give them up on the other end.
And Dave, you mentioned bonus time moments ago, so C.J. O'Hara reaps the benefits here, the freshman guard who can play like a big.
Yeah, the freshman from Combine Academy, North Carolina, understanding what is necessary, contributing right away. Had a little bit of a mishap, not understanding it was a 1-on-1 that time.
Lloyd, Asandiko, Joseph, Cardette, and Pierre. The 5 for Providence. Pierre steps out. Perfect.
Caught Johnson underneath the screen that time. Guy that shoots very well for Providence. Pull up 3.
Santoro way off, the former Friar. Now we'll get jeered at the end.
Here we have the screen by a big fella, a crease, and as we mentioned, Johnson going under it. Freshman mistake for a guy that shoots such a high percentage in Jaden Pierre.
Pierre's been impressive. Second year as a starting point guard. Get another look at Eli Delorier coming off the bench for Crease Asandiko.
Brother Javin was a Duke player a few years ago. so it's in the blood.
Parents played basketball. His mother was a star at Rutgers in the early 90s. Another open look. Barron off the mark. Here comes Roy, who's gone a little bit silent. Nice defense here from the Friars. Oh, behind the back, O'Hara earns himself free throws.
That drive to the basket by O'Hara opened up because the Friar defense is paying so much attention to Anthony Roy that they're not necessarily face guarding, but they're where they need to be. And so here on the other end, understanding what driving to the basket is, I talk about O'Hara, because the defense for Providence spread itself out mainly because I've got to make sure where Roy is at all times.
Goes down as the second on Delorier. Providence one shy of sending Green Bay to the line for 2 the rest of this first half. As O'Hara desperately wanted a role entering this year. Doug Gottlieb said, you want a role as a freshman, go guard somebody. And every day he has taken the role of guarding Anthony Roy, their best player in practice.
What freshmen have to understand coming into college basketball, as I've said many times, your talent is no longer your asset. You've got to find other ways to contribute to the team. He understands defense is some way I can get a lot of minutes. He's doing it very well as a freshman.
And if Doug Gottlieb challenges you to guard Anthony Roy, you're getting a workout every day at practice, right? You're a better player for it.
I'll tell you what, it'll do a lot to your mindset. It'll either make you destroy your confidence or understand, you know what, I can do this.
And O'Hara doing it tonight. He's got that confidence, that will. Friars by 4. 8 to shoot, Joseph.
Green Bay doing a really good job right now, cutting gaps off to from the Providence Dodgers.
Barron can't beat the shot clock. Here come the Phoenix. Quick trigger and a block. Oh man, Santoro completely ripped away by Cardette. Coast to coast, no.
We saw that in the Hampton game. A lot of really good defensive possessions. A great block by Cardette that time. You want to make sure you can get a basket on the other end.
There's the travel on Hall, who got caught in between there. Santoro's return to Providence and a denial.
On the catch, really good airspace taken away by Cardette. Leading the break, as we've mentioned, taking it all the way to the basket, just missed the easy layup.
Friars by 4. How do they start to lengthen the lead a bit?
Well, you know, again, it's defensive stops, finding different ways to score. Maybe get some offensive rebounds, continue to get yourself to the free throw line so you can score without putting a whole lot of pressure on your half-court offense.
Risky pass to Laurier. Joseph settles it down. Nice feed, Abdur-Rahim, the triple. Jabri Abdur-Rahim knocks it down.
Beautiful looking jump shot by Abdur-Rahim. It comes off his hand so smooth, that time with a man in his face, making the wing 3.
Quick answer. Short for Wonders. Follows his own board, but instead, it's Floyd running the break. Barron out of the corner for 3. And the Friars feeling it.
Back-to-back threes that time. Stretching the lead out. Providence says, let's see if we can get a stop right here. This crowd is electric. They'll go bananas if they can get another basket right now.
Johnson lays it in. That was the largest lead of the game for Providence. Johnson answering back.
Freshman quieting the crowd. I like that.
To his confidence, going right to the hole. The amp, all amped up, all 14,000. Delorier spinning off the mark. There's Johnson again, the rebound. Johnson, men possessed. Jeremiah Johnson stopping the bleeding.
Back-to-back baskets by Johnson at the rim. Very, very impressive.
There's a reason Jeremiah Johnson said, I'm going to be one and done. I'm not transferring. I'm going to the NBA. That's what he said preseason. He likes the big stage. Joseph. Barron slashes. Blocked, but a foul call on Orselka. Providence by 6 from the perimeter.
Pick and pop that time, change the size of the floor as you mentioned before. Big time 3 by Abdur Rahim. Purdue going to Alabama, beating them, the top 5 win, which will bode well for the season. And Marquette going at Maryland and coming away with a win as well. So very, very good matchup coming up.
When you think Marquette battling tooth and nail to pick up a win the other night, how about Cam Jones and what he's doing?
I'll tell you what, there's some early stars in the Big East. Cam Jones being right there, Ryan Kalkbrenner being another guy, but it's going to make an exciting play once Big East season starts.
Kim English, the entire league watching Cam Jones. Providence, some late first half momentum. They built up a 6-point lead from the perimeter. And Rich Barron out of the stoppage. Both teams in the bonus. Barron can capitalize and lengthen the Providence lead.
One of the things if I would talk about during the last time out is making sure although the floor has been spread and moving around very well for Providence, when the shot goes up, not only who's getting back on defense because Green Bay likes to fast break, but who more important is crashing the basket to get some offensive rebounds. Right now, Providence with only 2 offensive rebounds.
Another theme we were monitoring entering the night, Dave, was turnovers. And Providence, Kim English has to have a wide smile how they're limiting turnovers.
It'll get even wider with a win, I'll assure you that.
Still a lot of real estate. 2 and change in this first half.
Providence going small with their lineup, switching 1 through 5.
Roy back involved, plus the foul.
Again, the ability to get downhill. When Providence has to start understanding it. We talk about it all the time. When you have a driver like Roy, you've got to meet him early. That time on the second dribble gets past Mila, and Mila a little bit late to his help. He's got to take a step towards him. It's almost like boxing. Are you going to punch first or are you going to get punched? Defensively, you want to make strides towards the driver and make that decision very early on.
Roy's delivering more blows than we saw last night. Weren't a lot of punches thrown in that epic boxing duel.
Yeah, and you know what? Doug Gottlieb mentioned it earlier. So this guy's been a scorer his whole career. He was an All-American at Langston last year. So he comes to Green Bay with an understanding of how to put the ball in the basket and the responsibility that goes with it.
Second on Abdur Rahim. He stays on for the Friars. 5 to shoot. Joseph, nice feed. Mila with 2. Ryan Mila.
A little bit of indecision by Mila that time led to a end of shot clock 3.
Green Bay can cut it to a 1-possession game. Roy comes up short. Offensive rebound, Hall. Deep heave, Wonders, got it. Foster Wonders propelling the Phoenix. It's a 2-point game.
One of the things that happens, Emmanuel, is when you have an offensive rebound and a kick-out 3, as the Phoenix did that time, shot goes up, really, really good open 3. Why is that? Because when you're practicing your shot, usually the passes will come from inside out or from the wing. That time, a really, really good shot by Wonders.
Green Bay scrapping and clawing, making it a 2-point game. Coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report, Mike Hill, Bill Raftery, Donnie Marshall, and Casey Jacobson. They reminisce on the greatest Big East teams of all time. That's coming up on the Jeep Halftime Report. Dave, greatest Big East team of all time, just as a teaser here for your money.
Oh my goodness, we've got 1979 to 2004. You give me that question. So I'm going to be political about this. We can go to Georgetown early on, 1984 national championship. I've got to put a plug in for the national championship team that I was a part of in 1999 Connecticut, beat one of the all-time great Duke teams. So that's going to be my answer.
You were telling me some great stories earlier today about Providence in the 1970s and what could have been with Barnes. What could have been?
Yeah, you know, the 70s and 60s were owned by UCLA. Providence making the Final Four and having a chance to win the national championship, if not for Marvin Barnes with a knee injury.
In that Final Four, and Bill Walton, the rest was history. That unbelievable performance in the championship. Floyd the attack. short. And what are you making of this Green Bay defense right now?
You know, they talked about collapsing on the other end for Providence. They're doing a really, really good job. And really, in watching them the first 2 games, that's not something that they've done in playing on a string. But every time the Providence players have driven to the basket, they've met at least 2 bodies.
Barron taking matters into his own hands. Barron, all the rebound.
Players have a tendency to think that they can score just because they drive. That time, Barron shooting a little bit off balance. That's why the shot did not go in.
9-second differential shot and game clock. Both teams bonus territory.
See if we get a go screen here to end the half. I mean, having one of the players come set it almost like a fake screen to get himself open.
Here's Roy to beat the shot clock. Wild shot, Asandiko the board. Oh, Hall the steal! And lays it in for the tie.
You spoke too soon about the turnovers, Emmanuel. You spoke too soon.
Is that an announcer jinx?
I'll call it that.
What a response for Green Bay. Providence thought it had the lead entering the break, but Marcus Hall said no. An impressive supplementary first half off the Roy miss. Hall says, I'll help you out. The steal, the tie in the halftime at Providence. Green Bay, a chance for an upset entering the second half. 36-36. Deadlock at Providence. A 7-0 run for the Phoenix to end the first half. And Dave, much needed momentum entering the second half.
Yeah, momentum means so much in this game. Green Bay obviously ended the first half making some good plays. The turnover, as we mentioned, getting to the front of the rim, getting easy baskets. And so they've got to be really, really pleased, Doug Gottlieb, with his group and how they played. On the other hand, Kim English happy that they were not turning the ball over, which has been a major concern, but not happy on the other end because it's a 19-19 rebounding tie, which is something that they want to make sure that they take care of in the second half.
The 5 for Providence: Pierre, Floyd, Cardette, Asandiko, and Joseph to start this second half. Friars, best in the Big East in scoring defense so far, but Green Bay, true to form, 36 points on the board. 5 to shoot. Pierre to the rim, and Providence has the lead back.
Green Bay opened up the half in a 2-3 zone. Providence recognized that, a little bit surprised early, moved the ball around. Again, a late closeout at the end of the shot clock. Good drive to the basket for the layup.
Lob in for Johnson. Oh, wow. Answering back.
I really look at coaches and what they do, you know, out of timeout, out of halves. Doug Gottlieb drying up the alley-oop for Johnson. Really good start to half for both Johnson and the Phoenix.
Roy unselfish here. 15 first half points to lead all scorers, averaging 29 a game, Anthony Roy. Strong move in the denial. Asandiko says no to Johnson.
Playing, as we talked about yesterday, the goalie position. Somebody who's a rim protector that time, doing a really good job. Here's the alley-oop, again with a little bit of a back screen. Miscommunication by Providence, gets their easy layup by Jeremiah Johnson.
14 on the timer for Green Bay. Immediate foul on the inbound. Joseph tied up with Hall. And Marcus Hall, Dave, commanding a lot of attention as a guy who's not overly sized.
Yeah, and so what's your advantage, what's your disadvantage? You know, he's not big and bulky like the Providence centers, but he has an advantage, one, because he can shoot as a face-up 5 in this case, and 2, it can take the bigger, slower guys off the dribble.
Tweedy sets up Hall. The triple. Oh, how about the perimeter shooting of Marcus Hall?
Late closeout, you've got to be able to put that stick hand and take that airspace away.
Nifty move, Asandiko. Priest Asandiko. Presence felt.
Might have been the 3rd time we've seen I get, you get. So one score on the other end, followed by the defensive player. This time it's Asandiko getting the layup on the other end.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Here's Roy. Off the mark. Battles for his own rebound. Joseph comes away.
Providence getting away with maybe a little bit of a foul that time on the drive by Anthony Roy.
Joseph misfires on the 3, mistimes the rebound.
got to be concerned if you're Providence with these long rebounds, understanding that that can ignite your break if guys are in front of you chase those balls down.
How about Marcus Hall? 2 triples to start this second half, and this is the largest Green Bay lead.
We talked about momentum, and coming out of the half, it allowed them to make these threes early on.
Krista Sandaco, nitty, gritty, and heads to the free throw line. The Phoenix coming out firing in this second half with that momentum, propelling themselves.
No hesitation that time by Marcus Hall. Late closeout. One of the concerns, if you're the Friars, is how quickly your big guys, in this case, as Sandaco, can get out to a shooter. Not something that they practice every day, those big guys. Talking to Doug Gottlieb before the game, he understands the disadvantage size-wise, but he's willing to give up post offense by the big guy. One, it's only going to give you 2, and he's going to try to get 3 on the other end. And 2, it's not something that they're going to have a steady diet of, Providence, because they're not trying to get their big, 20 attempts at the basket.
It's almost like on the flip side, Providence saying to Anthony Roy, take your 2s. Take your 2s all night. He's telling Providence, all right, take your big man buckets.
It's a philosophical thing, and somebody that shoots 30-plus threes a game is that I'm going to make more threes than you can make, and you can have your 2s because the numbers are not going to work out in your favor.
Here's Tweedy leading the offense alongside Roy, and wonders. Roy kicks for his big Hall. Another! Oh, man! Marcus Hall! 3 threes in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Tremendously unselfish play by Anthony Roy, where his shot fake got him into the paint. A kick out for his 3rd 3, as you mentioned, by Marcus Hall.
The big man is unconscious as Gardette takes it inside. Pierre tripled. Pierre loses it. His big Sandaco helps out and throws it away with 3 to shoot. Providence out of sorts.
Here's the drive that I talked about. A guy that scores as well as Anthony Roy does. Very unselfish for the kick-out 3 by Marcus Hall.
Dave, a lot made of Providence's offensive struggle so far in the second half, but what is Green Bay doing well defensively to muck it up?
Well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, that they're really collapsing very, very well, understanding that Providence, although they can make and have made some threes, it's not something that they will have to worry as much about. I think the more concerned Green Bay is at the offensive glass and what happens in the paint.
Doing an excellent job of that so far tonight. Gardette in Roy's grill and forces a turnover. Joseph to the hole.
I call that turnovers for touchdowns. Do a really good job on the defensive end, creating a steal. Corey Floyd Jr. making a play at the other end.
Oh, and the block from Joseph, but a foul call.
I think the crowd is going crazy. Obviously, when you jump like that, you've got to be vertical, but you cannot put your hands anywhere near the defender and the ball, because they're going to call that every single time. Here's a drive. I'll take that back. I'll take that as a vertical. I think it was a good defensive play by Bensley Joseph.
It goes down as Joseph's 2nd foul in the process. 1 foul apiece so far after both teams got into foul trouble late in the first half. The freshman in the big spot, Ben Tweedy.
Really impressed by a guy. We haven't mentioned him a lot. He's been quiet, but he's led this offense with his presence, understanding that's a major responsibility, being a quarterback of an offense this early in the year as a freshman and leading to the really smooth offensive that Green Bay has played thus far.
If you're wondering why it's rocking more per usual, some Chick-fil-A is one. If it's a miss here for Tweedy. But he knocks it down and denies Friartown some extra Chick-fil-A.
Providence got to do a really good job here of getting some quality offensive possessions to stem this tide. Phoenix up by 5 right now. I want to make sure that you understand offense, quality shots.
Nice pass to Laurier. Gardette rims it out. DeLaurier the offensive rebound. Another nice pass. Mila off the mark. How about the battle offensively on the boards for Providence?
Again, 2 3-point shots, offensive rebound, and keep making that point over and over again.
Early battle, second half. Green Bay from the perimeter, rising in front. Upset alert on the road. Jeep, there's only one. Oh, it's a tie game at halftime. Green Bay rode that late first half momentum, took it into the second half. A 5-point Phoenix lead, finding the big from the perimeter. It's Marcus Hall, and he's feeling it so far, Dave, in the second half.
And I was really interested in what I was going to see between these matchup between the big men from both teams. I thought Marcus Hall would get his shots, more pick and pop. What he's doing is standing on the perimeter. Esadako is in help position, which is a natural thing that big guys do. It's left him open. Green Bay's done a really good job of finding him, and he's pulled the trigger, especially in his second half.
Marcus Hall, second year at Green Bay, Horizon League All-Freshman team last year. Models his game, he says, after Kevin Durant. For one reason simple, he says, we're both long, we both can shoot. That's a good idol, and he's playing like it.
And he's just going to get better and better as his body matures, he understands, he gets more experience, but really, really impressed by him thus far.
Providence out of the stoppage. Sluggish offensively to begin the second half. A lot of momentum, a lot of ball movement in the early first half. 5 to shoot, long heave to Laurier. Lloyd tips the rebound. A potato. And Roy comes away.
One thing coaches always say, you're not going to outshoot a shooting team. You're going to take your threes, hopefully you make your fair share, but you can't play 3 for 3 because they do it better, they're more experienced, they have more confidence, and as they get open, they good play.
There's a highlight reel from Hall. How about that pass down low to Johnson?
Same play, Doug Gottlieb ran to open up the half to get Johnson the alley-oop. Ran it again on an ATO after timeout, making sure that he got a quality look. Johnson with the layup.
Is the largest lead for Green Bay at 7. Mila, nice spin move to the hole.
Really good drive that time, spin move. When you turn your back to the defense, got to be a little bit careful, but that time got on the balance, got him the left-hand layup. Had his defender on his hip.
7 points from Mila, another impressive night. Roy not close on the long 3.
Anthony gets most of his threes in that slotted area at the top of the key. That time, as you said, long. As a result, shot a little bit short.
Cardette taking on Roy. Wide open Mila. Ryan Mila can't muscle it home. Hall the rebound.
Good strong side gap defense. Mila questions himself that time. Caused the layup to be missed.
Roy's getting locked down right now. It's about what Green Bay can do elsewhere. Johnson can't get the foul call. Here comes Mila. Pierre the 3. Rims it in. Definition of shooter's touch. Jaden Pierre.
Shooters tend to get friendly rolls, as I would say. That time, early offense. Rebound off the miss by Johnson. Push the ball up. Corner 3.
Roy, nice spin move to the basket. Delorier the rebound.
Another fast break opportunity.
Cardette up top. Oh, the hammer. Corey Floyd.
That Floyd name here in Providence is big. His father did the same thing for a couple of years. Making sure that the Friars regain the momentum. Corey Floyd Jr. with the flush on a fast break. Really impressive. Cardette with the alley-oop. And one by Corey Floyd Jr. Phenomenal play, regaining momentum by the Friars.
This is just rocking. 7-0 Friars run. A revival to tie this game at 50 on Upset Alert with Green Bay in town. And Dave, the story of the first half was Roy. He had 13 of Green Bay's 17. Now Providence has held them to 2 since then. None early in the second half. What's been the difference?
Well, 2 things come to mind really quick. One, when you are responsible for a really good scorer as Roy is, you've got to be there on the catch. You can't wait until he catches it to be able to close airspace and stop him from either shooting or driving. So they've done a really good job in that adjustment area. And two, it's just desire. I got to want to play defense. I got to want to make sure that I take on the responsibility of stopping one of the best scorers in America.
Roy gives it up. Tweedy, his point guard, is out there. Roe Oselka, the third big man off the bench, is checked in for the first time. Wonders at the shooting guard slot. 10 to shoot. Tweedy travels right back to Providence on a 7-0 run.
Appreciate the defensive sequence that time. Drive with nowhere to go. Drew a second defender, which is always a good key to Providence's defense, causing the travel.
Joseph leads the Friars. Oswin Arunse is out there. Limited action tonight. Floyd, joined by Pierre, on the wings for the Friars. Pierre for three. 10-0 run.
That was caused by an early switch on the pick and roll. Got the freshman Oselka on him. Hand down, as Mark Jackson would say, man down.
And the man down, leading to a Friar lead again. Barron with the defense. Barron strips Roy. Barron, big-bodied. The follow attempt tipped out. And this stays Providence. Providence on a 10-0 run. The amp is amped.
As we've mentioned with the switch, he gets the young freshman big man up on him, shoots over him. I think more than anybody else, trust that guy can shoot.
Friars run up against it in this second half with Green Bay in town for the first time. But now storming in front by 3. Can the Phoenix pull off the upset? We've seen a share of these in the Big East so far this season. Villanova, those losses to Columbia and St. Joe's. Butler, early loss to Austin Peay. Seton Hall, which held Wagner to just 28 points last night in a victory. Those losses to Fordham and Hofstra. So it goes to show, especially when teams are feeling it out, Dave, anything's possible in the early season.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, early season, it's hard because you really don't know your team. You understand you may have 1-2 starters back. They're infiltrating your team and your locker room with new personalities, new expectations for each one of those personalities. It leads to some early season games that will keep you up at night.
Absolutely. Games that could keep you up late into the wee hours. And beg your pardon, timing mixed up. Earlier today, that Seton Hall complete defensive stalwart performance. 28 points they held Wagner to.
Yeah, that's incredible. Really, really. Shaheen Holiday's done a wonderful job at understanding the culture at Seton Hall.
Joseph off the window. What a move.
Yeah, out of the timeout as, again, a straight line drive purposely done by Kim English. Taking it off the strong left hand to the basket, increasing the lead to 5.
It's a 12-0 Friar run. What does Green Bay need to do?
Get the ball to Roy as they did. Second defender, again, off the weak side screen, the walkaway screen. Corey Floyd got caught just a little bit. Late help, as we mentioned, allowed the drive, the roll to the basket for an easy 2.
Pierre again. Short. Rebound falls into the hands of Tweedy. Here's Wonders. Nice ball fake for 3. Rims it out. Oswin the board.
Good early through, though, by Wonder with a shot fake and then a 3.
Barron off the mark. Arunse to the free throw line. That's the offensive glass you were alluding to, Dave.
Yeah, and Arunse is a young guy. That's one of the things that he's brought to this team, his ability to be really aggressive on both ends. Last time with a defensive rebound, this time with an offensive rebound. A little bit of a shot fake, got fouled. Let's make sure now he can make them pay at the line, something that he has not done thus far early on is make free throws.
And 1 of 5 at the free throw line in his early career. Providence as a team, 61%. It's been a weakness so far through 3 games as they go for 4-0 here.
Great for his confidence to get that offensive rebound, get playing time, to hopefully have this increase that playing time, and then obviously, as we talked about, to make a free throw, and now hopefully make the second one. Really like this young guy, Nigeria but played locally here in the East. The BABC AAU team led by Leo Papil, one of the all-time greats in the grassroots community.
Well, he took the words out of my mouth. Kim English calls him a prospect. This is a guy who's very exciting for the Friars and will only develop. Here's Tweedy. Nice look. Aselka doesn't have room. Green Bay hanging tough. Tweedy with the strength. The Aussie puts it home.
2 paint touches that time. The first time we had some really good protection. Oswald really did a good job. That time, the second time around, got drawn away from the basket, allowed Tweedy to get that layup.
Back to a 2-point game. Pierre, have a night. 18 for Jaden Pierre.
The hazard on switching is small on big. Pierre recognized that, took it immediately off the dribble.
Nice feed from Johnson. Unders off balance. Green Bay in control with Roy. Anthony Roy. Not close.
Hadn't had a real easy look this half, Roy. Really good opportunity for Providence to take these defensive possessions and convert them into points on the other end.
Pierre. Oswin. He can fly. And the Friars flying high once again.
Talked about potential, talked about athleticism, has made a really good impact with his short minutes here in the second half.
And a foul with Tweedy, a little out of control. Jaden Pierre building and building in this early season. Jaden Pierre to the basket.
Pick and roll, as we saw, direct line to the basket, straight line by the young fella, freshman, understanding how you can contribute and get minutes.
Oswin Erunse coming off the bench. Early season was consistently in the starting lineup first couple of games. Kim English going with a new look down low. How about this swarming Friars defense? Abdur-Rahim! Pierre, the offensive rebound, doing everything.
This fan base would have loved that three to go in.
Nice feed, Pierre. Abdur-Rahim passes up another. Cardette with 3. Wesley Cardette. How about a Sandiko?
Ball didn't hit the rim. Ball did not hit the rim, so I would think referees will gather themselves and call that a turnover.
Some of the players and everyone on the benches was wondering, hey, jump ball, foul, but you're right. Shot clock did not reset, so the officials could take a look. And they do confer. Shot clock violation, right on cue, Dave.
Yeah, Cardette's drive was late in the shot clock, did not hit the rim, hit actually the top of the backboard almost. So the offensive rebound did reset the shot clock, made that correction. Here we go down the other end of the court for Green Bay.
Let's get another look.
Yeah, you see there the clock winding down, 3 on the shot clock, hit the top of the backboard, actually reset. Good correction by the officiating crew, strong officiating crew led by Pat Driscoll today.
They get that one completely right, coming together. Hall, the dish for Roy, who's one of his last 10. Now one of his last 11. What is Providence doing so well defensively?
Yeah, I was just going to say to Emmanuel, a great flyby to prevent the first shot off the shot fake, raising up to shoot. It was Meal at that time flying out while he was asking for a foul. I don't think it was one. Really good second defender. Again, the shot fake. Cardette did his job. Here we come. A nip of the offhand. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll say let's play on that one.
11 to shoot for the Phoenix, who had a 6-point lead in the second half. Cardette with the defense. 3 to shoot. Tweedy. Ooh, what do we have here with 1 on the timer?
I thought he was going to call travel that time. Ron Greenwood saw the foul, a little bit of a bump on the drive by the young fella. Got himself an end of shot clock foul. Boy, that put a dagger in that possession for Providence.
That's the third. And like you said, something you never want to do.
You know, a lot of teams practice it. They talk about it. We do not want to foul, particularly at the end of a shot clock. Probably in the Big East, Creighton, maybe the best in the Big East, if not the country at that.
Tweedy all alone. Instead for the big man, Miranda puts it home. That's pretty, and it's a 4-point game.
I'll tell you what, really impressed by this Green Bay squad led by Doug Gottlieb. They have not gone away. They've taken a couple of blows specifically here in the second half.
Nice feed, Pierre. Asundiko off the window.
That pick and roll, they've been switching that time. Again, the hard roll as we had by Arance before. Now we have by Asundiko this possession.
Back to a 6-point Providence lead. Here's Wonders on the turnaround. And like you said, Dave, Green Bay just won't go away.
Yeah, and again, they settled down, got a good set, a little bit Iverson cut across, side ball screen, a little bit late by the second defender, led to the drive. Really impressed by their offensive in the half court and in the whole court.
Tie up on that screen. That's just a third Green Bay foul of the second half. No foul trouble for either side. The Phoenix, well, they could rise from the ashes because they just won't go away. 4-point lead down the stretch. It's a 4-point game. Green Bay just won't go away under first-year head coach Doug Gottlieb all night at the Amp. Can Providence fend them off? A defining 12-0 run that didn't put this game away in the second half. And back at that huddle, Bryce Hopkins, their leader, a guy who's still not back, but at practice yesterday, it was obvious. He's maybe a game or two away. Bryce Hopkins very optimistic. He could be back off that torn ACL, almost a year sidelined, and he's improved a lot. His three-point shooting, his leadership over that span. But now the question, Dave, is where does Providence go without him as long as they have to play without him?
Yeah, and that's, a game-by-game decision, I think. When you do not have a natural scorer as Bryce Hopkins has been for Providence, then it might be who's having the best game at that particular time. Here late in the second half, we've seen Jaden Pierre play extremely well throughout the game. So I would think in this situation, maybe not overall, but in this situation, he's the guy that I want the ball in the hands of.
Yeah, they want that guy that could say, go get us a bucket. And Bryce Hopkins defines that, a true leader. But Kim English says any day now, just a matter of clearance coming off that torn ACL.
A lot of excitement in the Providence practices because they know he's almost there.
Pierre fading. Tweedy corrals the rebound.
Again, out of timeout, it's Pierre that took the shot. Not sure if it was planned that way or if it just happened by virtue of what's going on in the game.
Tweedy with Wonders for three. Short. There's Hall tapping the offensive rebound. And somehow, with the smarts, Wonders secures the possession.
I've said it before. When you take long threes, particularly ones that come untimely, and you're a perimeter defender, you've got to look, turn, and find your man. He might be 25 feet from the basket, but those long rebounds can kill you and lead to second chance points, particularly from the three-point line.
How about this 5 for Providence trying to figure out what works? Justin Fernandez, late minutes, haven't seen him. Jaden Pierre, Osman Arunce, Wesley Cardette, and Ryan Mila. Miranda with the strength. No, Mila the board, and Kim English has talked about we need toughness. This could be the toughest group right now.
Particularly at this late stage in the game, you've got just under 7 minutes to go. You want to make sure you have not only your most trusted team, but your toughest team, as you mentioned.
Arunce Pierre didn't wait long enough as that ball was caroming around the rim, but they do not call anything because the foul came first, and Mila goes to the free throw line.
Again, I think Providence has done a really good job of disrupting the Green Bay offense in the last few possessions since they went on this little bit of a run. And now, again, making sure with 6:49 to go that you have as many consecutive quality possessions as you can get your hands on. That time, a really good drive by Mila. Got himself to the line. Again, when you can start to score or continue to score, from the free throw line with the clock stopped and increase your lead, always a real positive.
Mila, 1 of 2. Cardette the offensive rebound though. Mila. Strong move, but Miranda at 7-1, securing the board.
I'd mentioned only 3 offensive rebounds by Providence in the first half. Up now to that one was their 10th. Really did a good job of forcing their will on the offensive glass.
Speaking of forcing will, Roy is just desperate for a bucket here. And Providence defending so well.
And watching all their games leading up to this Providence game and now today, this is the first time I've seen him get a little bit frustrated, asking for fouls, because as I mentioned, he's played in his own space with his own pace, and it's been very effective for him. Credit Providence for their defensive prowess.
Roy 29 a game, 5th in the country. He's 1 of his last 12 after 15 in the first half. Nice pass from Pierre. Oswin lays it home, and Jaden Pierre's making everything happen.
And that layup came as a result of a very, very hard, almost a double team at near half court. Ball escaped the trap. Got himself a layup. Really good minutes right now by the young fella. Aruse is doing a mindful job of understanding what the offense is giving him. Those pick and rolls have got him some free baskets.
Off the Miranda miss. Here comes Cardette. Plus the foul. Wesley Cardette timely. A chance for a 3-point play.
The game can be really simple while being hard at the same time. When you can get that screen, confuse that time on who's going to switch or not switch by the Green Bay defense. Another roll to the basket. Good pass by Cardette. A good layup by Cardette, taking his time, playing off 2 feet, something that Kim English and his staff have really, really emphasized, not just for Cardette, but for the rest of the guys as well.
Hard drive to the hoop for Wesley Cardette. And a chance for a double-figure lead now. It wasn't too long ago, Dave, back and forth in this game, but Providence has stayed composed like they have the first 3 games of the season when it's gotten close.
And you ask yourself why. It's because they've done it on the defensive end, disrupted the offense, and gotten your ability offensively, not just to execute, but to get some points at the free throw line.
Hall off the mark. Remember, it was Hall 3 threes in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
And one would ask themselves, why are they missing now and not before? Again, losing your rhythm tends to allow both your body and your mind to become unbalanced.
Joseph had oil on the rim that time. Shot clock resets for Providence. And a tie-up, timeout in the corner. Providence by 9. Now flip it to the Green Bay side, Dave. Doug Gottlieb, what are you telling your team just within 2, just within 4? How do you get it done here?
Well, first you got to relax. You got to understand what got you there, what got you the lead, what's kept you in the basketball game. They've done a really good job for about 33 minutes in understanding what they were getting. They've gotten a little bit out of sorts. A lot of it has to go to the credit of Providence defense, as I mentioned. But now in this timeout, guys, relax. I'm going to draw up something that we have an opportunity to score on. And when we do that, make sure that we cut off the water of the Providence offense by not letting pick and roll cost us or getting that ball deep into the paint.
Yeah, pick and roll, big culprit, hurting Green Bay all night. Jaden Pierre, whether it be with the buckets or dishing it out. Providence by 9. Both teams are 3 shy of the limit. A couple of timeouts to play with as well. Providence's largest lead at 10. Remember, they ran out in the first half as well. 7 ties, 7 lead changes, and Green Bay stormed in front at one point. So this wasn't like the first 3 nights, Dave, where Providence pretty easily erased the second half deficit. This has been a fight for the Friars.
Yeah, and kind of, as you mentioned, the Hampton game comes to mind, the last game out, where they kind of bulldozed their way from a deficit into a lead. As I said before, Green Bay and Doug Gottlieb a lot of credit for understanding the moment, not being afraid of the moment, particularly with such a young team.
One of those young players, Hall, leads his team out. Wonders a veteran with Tweedy. Another youngster, Johnson, and Roy. That's the 5 for Green Bay. Pierre, Joseph, Cardette leading the Friars, and there's a strong drive. You said it, Dave. Bensley to the basket.
Yeah, again, off the timeout, Kim English draws up a really good play. It was a fake handoff, so everybody was expecting a dribble handoff that time. Bensley Joseph did a really good job of faking it, drove himself and got an easy layup.
Largest lead at 11 for the Friars. This is a 7-0 run spanning last about 2 minutes here. Roy's one of his last 12. Roy wills his way to the free throw line.
Again, we keep mentioning it over and over about a second defender. That time it was Rich Barron attacking Joseph, coming to him, making sure that he's presenting himself. Didn't set himself quick enough to get the charge.
Roy's an experienced player. This is his sixth school in 5 years, but hasn't played too much at this level in environments like these. How much do you press when you're looking for that bucket?
I don't know that he's going to press, because I think he's confident enough to know that, what he gets out of his game, it's simplistic enough. He knows he can get his shot. He knows he can drive. It's what you're talking about is maybe the body, the size of the bodies and the athletes that he hasn't seen at Langston last year or as the season unfolds. But as they get back to the horizon, I think he'll continue to be as successful as he has at the outset of the season.
Definitely promising for Green Bay. Picked 8th in the Horizon. They've gotten off to a strong start competing at Providence here. Approaching 4 minutes to play. Right downhill, Joseph. Nice dish. Barron another. Here's a three. Off the mark for Floyd. Offensive rebound again for Providence. It's Joseph. Barron to the corner. A three. No for Cardette. And a foul on the rebound attempt. How about this fight?
I tell you what, Providence has really turned the tide by understanding what's in front of them. Green Bay continues to switch on a lot of those ball screens, taking the guards. That time it was Joseph taking the big guy off the dribble, creating advantage basketball, open threes, and then, as I keep saying, offensive rebound, offensive rebound, offensive rebound. That's got to be probably about their 10th of the half.
And loose bodies on the floor, forcing the Phoenix's 7th foul. Bonus time. Providence is too shy of the limit, so both teams in foul trouble. 4 and change to play in regulation.
And as the season grows older, Rich Barron will have a major impact. He's a quiet guy in terms of, the stats and the leading scorer, all those kind of things, but he contributes to winning basketball. The Chicago product, Mean Streets, again, played at St. Ignatius, a really good school in Chicago Catholic League. His coach, by the way, Matt Monroe, former manager of mine at DePaul.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. You get to watch him rise through the ranks like that.
Yeah, really, really proud of him. Again, guys that are graduate assistants, managers, those are guys that really, really value, understand that what they don't do as an athlete, they can do and contribute in the game of basketball.
Green Bay respond. Tweedy out of control. And there's Barron on cue hitting the deck. And another Green Bay foul on Cardette. And bonus time. Providence, largest lead at 11, responding to the Green Bay momentum. Friars looking to close it out, go to 4-0 at home. Providence holding Green Bay scoreless over the last 4 minutes, building up its largest lead at 11 after Green Bay had seized control in the early second half. Now the Amp, a lot to feel good about. Friartown having fun. Speaking of having fun, Jaden Pierre, junior point guard, he's been all over the place, Dave.
Yeah, you asked the question on who did they go to, and I said Jacob one because I think his experience, he and Bryce Hopkins, the only returning starters. But with the ball in his hands, I think Kim English really trusts his decision-making and making sure that he understands what he's being asked to do. Really good shooter, as you mentioned, over 40% from three-point range. But now today, especially late in the second half, it's been his quality drives to the basket.
Isn't it amazing to think how far this young man, Jaden Pierre, has come? When Kim English got the job, Pierre was in the transfer portal. And they got together. Pierre decided to stay. Basically, a week later, they played a game of one-on-one. They were joking with each other about who won, who lost, and now Jaden Pierre's in his second year as a Providence starting point guard.
Yeah, and connectivity with your players is so important. Kim English does that as well as anybody in the country. I talked to him during that time when he got the job, and his task at that time, not just for Jaden Pierre, but Bryce Hopkins, Devin Carter from last year, the Big East Player of the Year, is, hey, we got something special going here. I was inherited a great situation. You guys can be at the forefront of continuing on the Providence tradition.
And Providence tradition so strong, and Kim English picking up the mantle. First Providence head coach ever to win 20-plus games in his first season at the helm.
With all the great coaches they've had here, that is extremely impressive.
Goes back to the greats like Rick Pitino in the late 80s, and that's just to name one.
Well, I've got more gray hair than you, Emmanuel, so I can say Dave Gavitt, Joe Mulaney, the two names from the past that were great coaches here at Providence.
Friars tradition so strong. Kim English embodies everything that the Friars wanted their head coach. Under 4 to play. Bonus time at the next foul for each team. Nice pass from Tweedy. The freshman's been impressive and feeds his big man Hall.
Yeah, and Providence got caught, and specifically Jaden Pierre, in a non-helper position. Little penetration, drew a second defender. The backside was not on a string, allowing that layup to happen.
It's now 17 for Hall. And that complimentary piece to Roy. Hard attack, and Joseph absorbing the contacts.
Yeah, we talked about the second defender, Corey Floyd, coming on over. You see there late, if not non-existent, helper situation by the Providence defense. You know, defense, we talk about playing on a string as coaches all the time, and you've got to have connectivity. One of the really difficult things for a defender to do is stay alert on the weak side of the floor. At that time, it cost them 2 points.
Now, a couple of areas on the Providence side of things, Dave. They were looking to limit turnovers today. They only got 5. They averaged 17 entering the night. Free throws, and I speak to as soon as they miss one, but grab an offensive rebound. Free throws are right around 70%. That's a 9% improvement over their average coming in. It's early, but that matters.
Yeah, and then the things that they want to do well continually. We keep harping on the rebounding point, but they've done an excellent job in those categories that you mentioned, and then continuing to do the things that they do well, which is defending the half court and rebound on specifically on the offensive end.
Phoenix came into this one off their first win at Western Illinois, a career-high 35 from Roy. Looked like he was going for 35 in the first half. He had 15 and 13 of the first 17 points, but the Friars have shut him down. And Roy, one of his last 12, making one of his last 13, and a foul underneath on the rebound attempts.
You know, I think he understands late game with 2:23 to go, down 12, that we need some baskets. And so, you know, as he's begun to do, kind of making sure that he is responsible to get shots up. That time, a little bit of a forced shot.
The officials will go to the monitor as we get another look.
There's a forced shot, as I mentioned, by Anthony Roy. A little bit of a shove by Joseph. They want to take a look to see if any flagrant action took place.
And when you get a shove from Joseph, that's a hard shove. That's a big body right there.
Yeah, I don't think there was any faking it. You know, he's a big body guard, local product from Arlington, Massachusetts, coming back home, transferring from Miami, given an opportunity to play in front of family, friends. A perfect place for him to end his career.
So they'll take an extra look on any extracurricular activity. Providence by 12. It is SID Appreciation Week. It has not ended, as the officials confer on the final call. There's Arthur Parks, one of the best you'll find anywhere, let alone the Big East. He's celebrating his 30th year at Providence. 30 years, 3 decades. We want to shout out as well the Green Bay SID, Dylan Durasso. Arthur Parks, when you talk to him, not only a wealth of knowledge about Providence, but so helpful. These SIDs are unheralded. They're never talked about. They travel with the teams. They get all the information. They are the most tapped into the programs. They work so hard, and they're underappreciated. So we thank Arthur and everyone across the league, including Dylan and Green Bay, for all their help.
Yeah, being an SID is a thankless job. You know, you're responsible for so much game preparation, making sure that the basketball program and what happens to it, the information gets out to the general public, not just to the schools in your league or the schools around the country, but everybody understands in this case by Arthur what Providence basketball is up to.
The officials are announcing the call here as we'll get word. Another look.
Flagrant one. We'll have 2 shots at the foul line. A little bit of an overzealous football shove that time by Joseph.
So it's Ben Tweedy taking the flagrant free throws and misfires. This has been a bit of a problem for Green Bay. 8 of 13 at the free throw line.
Yeah, for Providence, turnabout is fair play. Those are the ones that they've been missing in the first 3 games of the season.
You know, Ben Tweedy's got to be reprimanded here in Providence. This is the second time that this crowd has been denied Chick-fil-A. there were 2 second free throw attempts tonight that could have granted extra Chick-fil-A to this crowd, and both were makes.
I've got to ask a question in my native voice. Would I have gotten some of that Chick-fil-A as well?
I'm sure they could have downed some Chick-fil-A. I'm not sure if you're a ticketed member here. If Dave Lato comes up to you and says, "Can I have Chick-fil-A?" I'm giving you Chick-fil-A.
I won't say no.
Just give me that Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Happy man.
As we get to the tail end of this game again, scoring as Providence is trying to do right now at the free throw line, pays a lot of dividends. You want to make sure that you have opportunities to increase the lead this late in the game with the clock stopped.
Cardette misfires. That makes it 14 of 22 for Providence at the free throw line.
And one of the biggest keys about making free throws at the tail end of the game is who's got the ball in his hands. So they've got some really good free throw shooters. Want to make sure that Pierre and Joseph have the ball in their hands most of the possessions coming down the stretch.
0 of 2, so leaving the door open for Green Bay with 2 and change to play. Oh, risky pass and a turnover. Here comes Joseph.
Work a little clock here, Joseph, making sure that you understand you go under 2 minutes with 11-point lead. Close this thing out the right way.
Joseph in no rush, and the foul from Tweedy. Double bonus time. And a 2-shot trip here for Bensley Joseph. Kim English, his team prepared to go to 4-0. Schedule is about to beef up in short order. So that return of Bryce Hopkins could be very welcomed.
We'll take that all day long. Providence, Kim English, the Friar Nation here, seeing Bryce Hopkins come back healthy. But it will be a little bit of a dilemma to get your best player re-involved in the basketball game. When do I shoot? How much do I impact the game? He's got to figure that out. He being Bryce Hopkins, his teammates got to work around him. But more importantly, Kim English and his staff have to figure out how to best balance a star player coming back with the schedule, as you mentioned, being as tough as it is.
How hard is that as a head coach?
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult because you're not going to get the Bryce Hopkins right away that everybody expects from him. You've got to bring him along rather slowly. And the expectation from him, his family, everybody involved, and as I said, his teammates even, is you're going to return back to the Bryce Hopkins that everybody knew you were before the January 3rd injury.
And that's an all Big East selection, and somebody who would be on a National Player of the Year watch list.
A little keep away till we get late in the clock. Would anticipate will be followed up by a ball screen to try to get the ball in the paint.
5 to shoot. Here's Fernandez. Too short. Offensive rebound, and Providence in cruise control thanks to Ryan Mila.
As much as anything, it's those offensive rebounds that have really cost Green Bay in the second half. We speak to the being sped up on offense, speak to the penetration by Providence, but it's those offensive rebounds that have really cost them.
5 to shoot, a 3. Bottom. How about Barron cash it in?
I think that puts the nail in the coffin a little bit for Green Bay. Like to see that confidence-wise by a contributor who's in the game late here for Providence in Rich Barron.
15-point Friar lead thanks to the Barron 3. Doug Gottlieb is not happy, not pleased. This is the upcoming schedule for his Phoenix. And Dave, I thought you made an excellent point earlier. Green Bay, they'll fall to 1-3 with this loss, but the way they're playing, the way they're challenging, coming off their first win, this effort at Providence bodes well for the Horizon League play.
Yeah, I really believe that as the season goes along, the way that Doug Gottlieb has got them organized, especially on the offensive end, will continue on when they play back at home within the Horizon League, as you mentioned. The comfortability will happen. The experience of playing together will be a major part of it. And I don't know what will happen. They predicted, as you mentioned, to finish 8th in the Horizon League. But I wouldn't be surprised if they make a lot of noise as the season grows older.
Green Bay picked 8th in the Horizon League. You watch them in this early season, led by Anthony Roy. And you think this team could be a force to be reckoned with in the Horizon League. Meantime, Roy himself had 15 in the first half. He's 3 of 13 from 3 tonight. He came in shooting 56% from beyond the arc, which is incredible. I got to give credit to the Providence defense, which has been so strong this season.
Yeah, and it's really early. But when you got guys that are that efficient, we call them 180s, 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90 from the line. He was at a 210 for the first 3 games. And so that obviously is going to go down. But again, credit Providence for their attention to detail and how they got him. We talked about it earlier with the desire and then making sure that they're there on the catch.
Hall off the inbound, plus the foul. So Marcus Hall polishing off a strong night here at the end.
Yeah, did a really good job, not only by creating the contact and getting himself a basket and an and-one opportunity, but the drawing up of the play that got him the ball in the middle of the floor, off the dribble. You see there with the spin, creating the contact, bringing his chest to Rich Barron and getting an and-one opportunity.
All having one of those career nights. This would be 20 instead short. 19 points, 7 rebounds on 8 of 12 shooting, 3 from beyond the arc, all coming in the early second half. We had a timeout for Kim English and the Friars at 46.5 to play.
I think you got to walk away from this game if you're Green Bay, understanding that for most of the game you were right there. You were going punch for punch, blow for blow. Offense and defense was working the way you had anticipated it would. And Providence was just better in the second half at the areas that matter most to them. We talked about getting paint touches. We talked about offensive rebound. We talked about getting to the free throw line, not having to rely on the ability to make shots all the time.
Kim English and his Friars ready to go to 4-0 with all those fundamentals you alluded to, Dave. And the Big East is filled with prominent coaches in a second season and the type of leap that they can make. Rick Pitino and St. John's, I think it's safe to say, they've made a leap already. Kim English and his Friars about to get Bryce Hopkins back. Could they be a top 25 team? And Georgetown, you're already seeing some improvement from the Hoyas.
Yeah, we've got a Hall of Fame coach, got an experienced coach, and we got a young coach all in year 2 trying to elevate their programs in the Big East.
With this win for Kim English, Providence will have won 30 of its last 31 non-conference home games. They'll go to 4-0 in this early season for the first time in 4 years.
Working on a little bit of press breaking right here. Did a really good job.
Here's Joseph drawing the contact. A strong contest there from Monecki, who just checked in.
Yeah, Mo Monecki, a guy that comes as a transfer from Abilene Christian, hasn't gotten a lot of playing time thus far, but you talked about it yesterday. Strong body, really good touch, tremendous athlete. I think he'll get more playing time as Doug Gottlieb's bench increases during the December portion of their schedule, and especially January, February, and March as the Horizon League really elevates.
It really elevates, and we saw him at practice. Yeah, not a lot of playing time so far, but you look at Mo Monecki, you're like, that's a player. That's a guy who can play at this level.
I knew his father, Dave Monecki, a really good player at the University of Texas, in the top 15 in points and rebounds. Had the same kind of body as young Mo Monecki has, but a little bit taller. Very, very, very good player from Texas.
Cypress, Texas, where he was a McDonald's All-American nominee.
Get some quick offense here by Green Bay. If you're Providence, just don't foul, secure the defensive rebound, and walk out of here with a win.
3-second differential shot and game clock. Tweedy hounded. Mila's been impressive all night. Telegraphed the pass. Joseph the interception. and Providence can run it out.
Just the kind of defensive possession that Kim English will watch the film on later on tonight or tomorrow and be very pleased with how they close this game out.
79-65 the final. The Friars appearing battle-tested in the early season. They improve to 4-0. Kim English and his squad got to feel happy about the response.
Yes, and as they exhale and look towards tomorrow, what brings Delaware State next on the schedule, and then the gauntlet begins. You know, starting with the opportunity to go to Bahamas and play a really, really good and improved Oklahoma team.
Want to thank our entire crew as Providence has won 30 of its last 31 non-conference home games. Got Sam Rubinoff leading our crew, Ray Perry, Steve Shear helping us out courtside. For Dave Lido, Emmanuel Berbari, Kansas City at Creighton. Next.